Thomas, can I run something by you? I had a patient last week, mid-60s, sharp, does her homework. She'd seen another doctor a while back who told her she needed to get under 130/80. Then she came to me, and when I said that for someone her age and health picture, mid-140s might be perfectly reasonable, she looked at me like I'd made that number up on the spot.
I get some version of that conversation almost every week. And honestly, she wasn't wrong to be confused. Two different doctors, basically the same patient, two different targets.
Right, and I don't think we need to spend this whole conversation relitigating every guideline committee's math for people, but it's worth being upfront about why that happens.
Fair. The short version is, the right number isn't really about age at all. It's about the whole person. Kidney function, other conditions, how someone tolerates their medication, whether they've had a fall or gotten dizzy standing up. Two people who are 72 can land on two different right answers, and that's not the system failing anyone. That's it working the way it's supposed to.
Okay, so if the target itself is genuinely individual, what's something we can hand people today that helps no matter what number they and their doctor land on?
That's the right question. Because here's something almost nobody explains clearly. Most home blood pressure readings are off, not because the machine is broken, because of how people are using it.
That actually lines up with something I see constantly. Patients walking in from the parking lot, sitting down, and getting their pressure taken 30 seconds later.
That'll do it. You want to sit quietly for a full 5 minutes before you take a reading. No stairs right before, no coffee right before, no stressful phone call right before. Any of those can push the number up temporarily.
What about posture? I feel like nobody thinks about how they're sitting.
They should. Back supported, both feet flat on the floor, legs uncrossed.
Does crossing your legs really move the number that much?
Enough that it's worth avoiding. And the arm matters just as much. It needs to be supported at roughly heart height. Let it hang down at your side, and the reading runs high.
So if someone's holding the cuff arm up in the air or resting it in their lap while they're slouched,
both of those will skew it. And one more thing people don't expect, talking while it's measuring can raise the number by several points.
So the "how's your day going" small talk during the reading is actually working against us.
It is. Quiet, still, arms supported, feet flat. And here's the piece that catches almost everyone off guard. Take it twice, 1 minute apart, and write down the average. A single reading can be thrown off by something as small as a stressful drive to get there.
That's basically white coat blood pressure, isn't it? People tensing up the moment they walk into an office.
Exactly what that is, and it's common enough that it has its own name. It's also part of why home readings, done correctly, tell us more than a single office visit sometimes can.
What about the cuff itself? I've had patients bring in cuffs that clearly don't fit. People tensing up the moment they walk into an office.
Cuff size matters more than people think. Too small, and it can make the reading falsely high. Check the package for the correct arm measurement, and use the same arm every time you measure. If there's a big difference between arms, that's worth mentioning to your doctor too.
And timing? I tell people morning and evening, but I don't think I've ever explained why.
Blood pressure naturally runs a little different morning versus evening, so measuring at roughly the same 2 times each day means you're comparing similar moments instead of apples to oranges.
So rest first, sit right, arms supported, stay quiet, take it twice, average it, same arm, same rough times. That's genuinely more than most people are doing.
It is. But here's the part I actually want to sit with for a second, Kevin. Say someone does every single one of those steps perfectly. Rests, sits right, averages 2 readings. That number is accurate for that moment.
Isn't that the whole point though? An accurate seated reading? People tensing up the moment they walk in.
It's accurate for someone sitting still. But blood pressure isn't fixed. It's constantly adjusting on you, second to second. And there's one specific moment where a lot of people get caught off guard, and it has nothing to do with how carefully they took their seated reading.
Which moment? People tensing up the moment they walk into an office?
The moment they stand up.
Okay, now you have to finish that thought.
I will. But that's actually where I want to pick this up, because it connects to something almost every patient we see over 60 is quietly afraid of, even if they never say it out loud.
Falling.
So let's pick it up right there.
All right, standing up. What actually happens?
When you stand up quickly, gravity pulls blood down toward your legs for a moment. Normally, your blood vessels squeeze and adjust almost instantly to keep enough blood flowing up to your brain. As we get older, or on certain blood pressure medications, that adjustment can be slower than it used to be.
Which medications are we talking about?
Things like water pills, or medications that relax and widen the blood vessels, Those can make that dip more noticeable. That's just useful to know, not a reason to be alarmed about any specific pill someone's taking.
So for a few seconds, the brain's genuinely getting less blood than it needs.
And that's the lightheaded, room-spinning feeling some people get right after they stand up. We call it orthostatic hypotension, but honestly, the standing up dip describes it just as well.
And that's directly tied to falls, not just a passing annoyance.
There's a study that followed older adults in Finland for 3 years. The people whose blood pressure dropped noticeably when they stood up were significantly more likely to fall within the following year. So this isn't a minor sensation to shrug off.
So what do we actually tell someone to do about it?
Something almost embarrassingly simple. When you get up from sitting or lying down, pause for a full count of 10 before you take your first step. In the morning, sit on the edge of the bed for a few seconds before standing.
And if it's happening regularly, not just once in a while,
then it's worth mentioning to their doctor directly. It might just mean a small medication adjustment, not that anything's fundamentally wrong with them.
Okay, so between the accurate readings and the standing up pause, we've covered the know your number safely side. What actually moves the number day to day?
None of this is overhaul your life advice, which I think is where a lot of people get discouraged before they even start.
Habit 1, swap, don't just cut. What does that actually look like day to day? Because eat less salt is advice everyone's already heard and mostly ignored.
That's exactly why I don't phrase it that way. Instead of trying to eliminate salt completely, swap one salty processed food a day for a fresh version. Start with breakfast. 2 strips of bacon become a boiled egg, and some fresh fruit. Same plate, same effort, different ingredients.
Okay, that one's easy. Lunch is where I think people actually struggle though. A lot of my patients live on deli sandwiches.
Which is worth knowing why that matters. A deli ham sandwich can carry close to half a day's salt in just 2 slices of meat. The swap is roasted turkey breast you cook yourself, even once a week, then freeze in portions. Dinner works the same way. Canned chicken runs 700 to 900 milligrams of sodium in 1 cup. A homemade pot with fresh chicken, carrots, celery, and herbs gives you the same comfort food for a fraction of that.
And snacking. I'm guessing salted crackers and pretzels are the usual suspects.
They are. Unsalted nuts or plain popcorn you season yourself does the job instead. So across a whole day, 1 swap at breakfast, 1 at lunch, 1 at dinner, 1 for snacking, that's the whole strategy. Nobody needs to measure salt with a scale. As a rough guide, most older adults do well aiming for around 1.5 teaspoons a day total, counting what's already in bread, canned food, and restaurant meals. Not just what you add with the shaker.
So it's really just notice your biggest source, swap that one first, and move on.
That's it. And it helps to lean toward foods naturally rich in potassium alongside the swaps. Bananas, potatoes. Potassium helps balance out sodium's effect on the blood vessels, so it works with the swap.
Habit 2,
A 10-minute walk twice a day beats 1 long walk. Right after breakfast and right after dinner tends to work well. It's easier on the joints, and it's just as effective for blood pressure as 1 longer session.
does it need to be brisk or a certain distance?
Not at all. A walk around the block counts. A few laps around the living room on a rainy day counts. Marching in place from a chair counts. What matters is doing it most days, not doing it perfectly.
And habit 3. This is the one I actually stress the most with patients.
Never stop or change a blood pressure medication on your own, even if you feel fine.
Because feeling fine is often the medication doing its job.
Exactly that, not a sign it's no longer needed. One trick that genuinely helps people stay consistent: pair the pill with something you already do every single day without fail. Brushing your teeth, making your morning coffee, put the pill bottle right next to it. And if someone actually wants to change something about their medication, that's a conversation to have with their doctor.
So we've got accurate readings, the standing up pause, and the 3 habits. How does someone actually bring all of this together for their next appointment?
This is the piece I think matters most, honestly. Doctors' visits are short, sometimes just 7 or 8 minutes, which isn't much time to explain a full picture of someone's health. So here's what I'd tell any patient. Take your blood pressure at home twice a day for 1 week before your next appointment. Once in the morning, once in the evening.
Using the 2 readings averaged method we talked about earlier.
Right, both readings, each time. Write down the numbers on a simple piece of paper or in your phone's notes. Bring that list with you. A week of real numbers tells your doctor far more than 1 nervous waiting room reading ever could. And the dizziness, the standing up moments, those go on the same list? They should. Jot those down too. That context matters just as much as the numbers themselves, and it turns a rushed appointment into a real conversation.
So if I'm being honest, Thomas, 2 walks a day, staying consistent with medication, tracking a week of numbers, that's a lot for someone to hold on to at once, even if each piece is small on its own.
It is a lot if someone tries to do all of it starting Monday morning. But that's not actually what I'm asking anyone to do. Same as the food swaps. You don't overhaul the whole plate, you swap one thing.
So less fix your blood pressure and more fix one Tuesday.
Exactly the right way to think about it. One habit, done consistently, moves the number more than 3 habits attempted for 2 days and abandoned.
All right, so here's what I actually want to know from you watching this. Of the 3, the food swap, the 2 short walks, or staying consistent with your medication, which one are you going to try first this week?
Just drop a 1, 2, or 3 in the comments. We read them, and we'll check back in on how it's going.
And if this cleared something up for you, it's probably worth clearing up for someone else in your life too. Send it their way.